it wasn't that long ago, and still with many shows today, a new season of a show would come out every year. That's the way it was. But we've been seeing more and more, like in cases of House of the Dragon and whatnot, that sometimes a year, sometimes 2 years in between seasons, sometimes even more. And that is the topic of this next hotline question. Let's go and check it out.
Hello, John Campea and the crew of this field, calling from Phoenix, Arizona. I remember in the early 2000s, TV shows were like releasing seasons almost every year. But now I'm seeing shows like Stranger Things that take like 3 years before we get another season. I was thinking, do you think it would be okay for TV shows to shoot season back to back? Like shoot 2-3 seasons back to back, and that way they can be able to release one season while they be working on the other one to release it earlier? Because come on, everybody don't have time to be waiting. Some of us are getting old. Let me know your thought on this, and bring on the filthy. Have a wonderful day.
We are indeed getting old.
Some of us are getting old. Let's go. Let's go.
This is a very interesting question. I actually love this question because I am of two minds on it. On the one hand, it is frustrating to me as a television fan when shows have to take 2 years or more in between seasons. Now, I always hear the same excuse that fans will make for it. Well, I'd rather they make sure that they take the time and do it right. Right? You know what? A lot of people think The Wire is the greatest show ever made on television. They put out a new season every year. A lot of people think Sopranos was the greatest show of all time. They managed to do it right and pretty much, for the most part, put out a new show every year. Most of Game of Thrones managed to put out a new season every year. Why is it other people could always do it right and put out a new season every year? A lot of those shows were 20-something episodes, too, and they managed to do it right. Why all of a sudden do you need 2 or 3 years? So I admit, I've always, you guys, if you've watched this show for any period of time, you know I've always been frustrated with that. Whenever I've heard about a show that I really quite like, and it's going to take a while for them to get a new one in, I lament a little bit. It's like, how come they've always been able to do this, and all of a sudden now you can't? That aside, I have always advocated as well for movies that I think if your studio knows you have a very, very, very high chance of success, shooting your first 2 movies back to back. Or if not your first 2, maybe your second and third. Like once the first movie came out, you know it works, put out the second, just film the second and third back to back. You'll save a ton of money in production and logistics, and you'll be ahead of the curve and all that kind of stuff. I like that idea. But with television, I think it's a little bit more tricky. Because let's look at it this way. It's easy for us now, and people, including me, to look back in hindsight and say, well, House of the Dragon is one of the greatest shows we've had in years. Why didn't they just shoot the first 2 seasons back to back? But lest we forget, going into House of the Dragon, before episode 1 dropped, there was a hell of a lot of people that were just proclaiming, oh, this is going to suck. This is going to suck, right? A lot of people thought that. The studios, doesn't matter how good they knew their show was, they didn't know how people were going to react to it. And so I think it would have been very financially irresponsible of them. And though, again, in hindsight, I wish they had shot the first 2 seasons just back to back, kept production going and just had it all done. But that would have been a major gamble, a huge gamble that could have backfired very, very quickly. Because there are a lot of shows that don't make it 1 or 2 seasons. And then here's the other difference too. Television is a little bit more fickle than movies, right? 1 season of a show can pretty much kill the momentum of a show. It's very rare that you get something like Stranger Things that can go 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons, and it's just banger for the audiences all the time. They love it, and you know what you got. But it's also not coincidence that it's like one of the only shows on Netflix that has like 5 seasons. One of the only narrative shows on Netflix that has like 5 seasons. I do wonder, how many seasons did Naked Attraction get? I'm not sure. I'm sure it beat Stranger Things, though.
I think there's 7 seasons.
That aside, I don't know. I have no idea. But yeah, it would be interesting to see. But like, again, so even with a hit show like House of the Dragon, it would be a major gamble to, now that you know that season 1 is a hit, that doesn't mean the audience is going to love season 2. And again, it's a little bit more fickle than it is with a movie, because with a movie, you're making a 2-hour story, boom. And if it doesn't hit as well, the audience can be more forgiving about it. But a season of TV that doesn't hit, it's weird. So guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Mint Mobile. Signing your life away to a big wireless provider is kind of like being trapped on a roller coaster from hell. Sure, it looks like fun at first. They probably even threw in a free phone, but now you can't get off. Month after month of insane bills and unexpected thrills, like overages and surprise fees. If that sounds like your current big wireless plan, it's time to get off the ride with Mint Mobile. For a limited time, wireless plans from Mint Mobile are just $15 a month. That's unlimited talk, text, and data for just $15 a month. You guys know before I came to Mint Mobile, I was paying triple what I am paying now on the standard big wireless plan, and I will never go back. All plans come with unlimited talk, text, and high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. To get your new unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped right to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bill to just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. I'll tell you what, Chris, in theory, I like the idea of shooting seasons back to back. In theory.
Sure.
But I don't know if I'm an executive that I pull the trigger on that, because I think it's a little bit too much of a gamble. How do you see this?
I mean, I really like doing whatever I want. Fuck the consequences. Money doesn't matter.
When it's not your money.
But when it's not my money, yeah, shoot all of it. Do 5 seasons right now. 5 seasons in a movie. Let's go. Let's do this. First of all, there's 8 seasons of Naked Attraction.
That show made it 8 seasons?
Yes, and there have been some specials.
2016.
Known as the best naughty bits. Oh, excuse me. No, there's some season 9. Wait, what? It keeps going. Wow.
People can't get enough of looking at junk.
No.
There we go.
You know, it's fun stuff. But back to the actual topic here. Yeah, if something like Dune, right? That was one that it was a no-brainer of, well, you know you're going to make part 2.
Yeah,
so just let him make
they should have done that
part
one back to back.
That
Absolutely.
one would have made sense, and I probably would have enjoyed it more if I'd gotten to see it back to back like that. For television, to your point too, we kind of don't know how people are going to tune in weekly. We don't know if a show is going to take off.
Yeah.
We don't know if schedules are going to permit people to commit to that amount of time. I love the idea of being able to film something fully like that. I would love it if, some of our Star Wars or Marvel shows got to take that approach so it could have some things that were more succinct. I would love that for, a whole bunch of stuff. Stranger Things, it would have been great. We wouldn't have had these huge time jumps, at least in terms of the actual actors' ages, where we're like, no, they're still in high school. But it's money. It comes down to money, and it isn't financially viable to shoot shows like that. It just really isn't.
So yeah, I'd love to see it if they could do it. I just think it's a really, really, really big risk. I mean, maybe if it's something like a Stranger Things that gets into 5 seasons and they decide, you know what, we're going to do 2 final seasons. That show that has had that long of a track record of success and that long of a faithful following.
That makes sense.
Then I could see you doing like a season 6 and 7 back to back, but otherwise it's pretty tricky. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.